When I met you were very islandish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Like literally, my husband was my person. It's
literally
fine. Like my world.
Yeah.
He was my person.
There was no collaboration or bringing somebody else on, and I even remember being very almost scared actually in the sense of sharing.
Oh, I'm really proud of myself. I've been in physical church. Tomorrow will be 3 weeks in a row.
I know.
I
God's grace, I get there tomorrow. Listen,
do you know what I mean? Like I really
sorry,
feel an
God.
unction to be in the house physically.
Yeah. But it's definitely over time that I've got more comfortable around larger groups. But to say that actually it's the whole thing of the only reason why I got more comfortable is because I started to step out. I pray that your name will be glorified far and wide through this. That's the main thing as well, Daddy, that your name be glorified and that your in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode.
Yep.
I'm Laurel Maxine.
I'm Katrina Douglas.
And this is the Salt and Sweet podcast. I always go say that in American accent. Oh my gosh.
I didn't watch YouTube too many.
Do you understand? Welcome to my podcast. But yes, what are we talking today? About today even?
We're talking about not doing it alone. Not accomplishing your vision alone, not working alone, and really just coming at it from the perspective of we are better together, which in a lot of ways I think is quite countercultural in some entrepreneurial spaces and just online in general. I think although online it seems like we're together more, I think we're further apart actually. We have the appearance of being more together and there being more community, but actually I don't think there is in real life, and I think it's something that we need to come back to.
I like that title, we're better together.
Yeah, we are, we absolutely are.
Yeah, and it's, I feel like over time I've come into that space that you're talking about of better together, but definitely before I wasn't, you already know I wasn't really
I didn't
about
have time for it. I felt like
stuff.
I didn't have time for it. I felt like people slowed me down. I felt like I didn't have time to be giving you instruction. I didn't have time to be working with you and accommodating your nuances. I just wanted to be by myself. And I think for me, being an only child and really liking my own company, I was very much that person.
I did forget we're similar in that way. Yeah. I did forget that. Can't say, but you've got a sister, but the age gap is big,
like
isn't
18 years.
And my age gap is 21 years. And by the time my sister was born, I wasn't living at home.
Yeah, same here. I had moved out when she was 2. In fact, my son is only 3 years older than her.
Older?
Younger than her. Sorry, my son is only 3 years younger than her. Okay. So, do you know what I mean?
That's so crazy because my son is only 2.5 years younger than my sister. I didn't realize we had that mirror. I knew that we had the siblings and growing up as only children and stuff like that. But I do agree. I think it's definitely that only child thing, like you're just used to doing it by yourself. Yeah, and it just seems any other way just seems long. It's like work as well. It's work. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm like, and I think we can talk about this in entrepreneurial business context, but even as well in church context. I think for me, actually I saw it very potent in both areas of my life. Actually, I was gonna say, I think it was more that, but actually no. When I think about it. When I was doing business, I never was thinking, I'll do. You know, if there's something I didn't know how to do, I will learn how to do it and figure it out. It was not, there was no collaboration or bringing somebody else on. And I even remember being very, almost scared actually in the sense of sharing. the vision for the business in fear of people stealing it. And I don't know if there was a time where people were really just like be teething people's ideas and you have to be careful who you trust.
But it's relatively rare.
Yes. But it's amazing how to me it just seems so magnified and so not rare. That's how it felt to me. So I definitely I think I learned more collaboration through you and my other friend.
Really?
Yeah.
Me? How? Because
just meaning like, and when I say collaboration and even just getting people on, I've seen you do that more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've seen you work with people more. If you think about how you work and how I work.
That's true, actually. That is true.
I still to this day do things very much by myself.
That is true. And for me, it was a bit of an epiphany in business. I always say that the thing I would have changed earlier in my business is getting help earlier, getting support earlier, and also bringing people in earlier. I just would have done all of that. I think it slowed me down. In hindsight, I just didn't see it. I just saw it as my business. I saw it as my vision. But in hindsight, it really slowed me down. And so when I turned, I kind of completely did a U-turn almost in my business. So now it's like, if I'm not the best person to do it, I don't even want to do it. Like, I only want to do the things in my business that I am gifted and blessed to do and where I'm optimal in my business. But that was a process, and that takes time. And I think that the whole notion of self-made as well doesn't help that, because no one is self-made. Even the biggest business people, they have coaches, they have a network, they attend masterminds and things like that. And so it's a fallacy actually, because anyone that has ever achieved anything significant in life did it with people will say, actually, that person helped me, that one gave me an opportunity somewhere, someone opened the door. And help is not a weakness, and I used to think that if I needed help, or if I couldn't do something, if I struggled, that it was a weakness for me to go look for help and to ask. And actually that's such a lie.
It really is. And I do think when, entrepreneurship, I feel like when we started out as entrepreneurs, I feel like even though we didn't know each other yet, I feel like it's around similar times.
Yeah, definitely. Around 2015 or so.
Yeah, so I started in 2011.
Wow.
No, that's a fair batch. I started in 2008 and then properly in 2011. But it's like, then it was, entrepreneurship wasn't as boom as it is now. And there wasn't much, because not much people were doing it per se, there wasn't necessarily much information on how to do it. Entrepreneur almost in itself said, you are working by yourself.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. It was very much about being self-employed, and I think it was very much that kind of coaching boom type of thing. And I think for me the shift happened simultaneously, I guess, with a change in business model. I think when I rebranded my business, I'll really shorten the story, but basically I'd left corporate in 2015, started my business. By 2019 I was like, this really isn't working. Stopped, rebranded, and when I rebranded my business as the launch strategist, for me that's when a pivot came. I felt less personally attached to it.
I remember.
I've even said that for the first time. I would be open to selling my business in the future. Whereas I think in the past, my business was attached to my identity.
100%.
So attached to my business, but now I really see my business as a separate entity. So actually, it's my responsibility to lead the vision, but not to do everything to make the vision come to pass. And also that the vision for the business has a place in a wider context. It's not just about my vision, my goals, but actually the context that I'm building the business in. So I think all of those things have come together. With me bringing more people in, with me asking for help when I need it, with me thinking about the purpose of the business within the context of community and the wider business community. But I think it was a very necessary change. And it's not a weakness. Even in relationships, even if we bring it back to relationships, this notion of being independent, I really don't like that notion anymore. I think we're called to be interdependent. We're really 100%. Called to be interdependent. Like our visions are attached to someone else's visions.
100.
It's never in isolation. There's always, it's attached somewhere.
100%.
And I'm even thinking about us doing this podcast together. this is together and this is a joint vision. But I think that it's also attached to what God wants us to do independently almost as well, attached to I know that you have a call on your life to be teaching and and I know that there's something around ministry, and I really feel like this is the seed of something, almost a gateway. It's a thing in and of itself, sure. But I think there's things that will spin off of this for both of us, but it's about collaboration. Once upon a time I never would have done this.
Really?
Once upon a time, I never would have done a podcast with somebody else.
Do you know what, actually? I don't know that I would have either, actually. I think it's only maybe more recent years.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it comes back to something you said. You said about the business being attached to our identity as well. And I think that that's not necessarily just about business. It's and it could be back to only child stuff as well. It's just having my
stuff,
ownership
of it.
Yes,
ownership. I think that you're so right. Actually, I think you're so right, because for me, it was that but there's fear in that, right? There's absolute fear in that. Like, I want this to be mine. Like, I don't want you to like, if I give you a share of this, you're gonna think that you have some rights and you don't, type thing. It's that, but there's fear in that.
100%, and I think even like you said, you feel like you may have some rights, but also I think that there's a level of competition as well. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's why nowadays this whole drumming on collaboration over competition, because over time, and this is the joy, I guess, of growing older and wiser and seeing life. Like, do you remember back in the day, girls would see each other and screw face? Yeah. That was norm. They'll be screwing you down to the ground, or you're screwing someone down to the ground. I don't think I really ever did that. It wasn't really my thing. But I've definitely it was a culture around.
It was a culture around it. Even that whole thing about thinking that, like I said before, people thinking I'm too nice. That's part of that same culture.
It was around that same time.
Why?
But the thing is, the truth is because you are nice, if that makes sense. You are pretty, and rather than people saying which has got better nowadays, where people are like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. Back in the day, you think you're too nice and screw you. But that goes to show it was their thing. It wasn't about you. It was their fear or them feeling whether it's inferior or whatever. And just like to bring that back into what we were talking about, just like with the, collaborating, and we wouldn't have done that before. There's so many elements rooted in fear
and insecurity.
What do you mean taking words out my mouth?
It's true.
Like, do you understand?
It's true.
That. And think about that word, insecurity. It's something against you feeling secure.
Yeah, you're so right. Because I think now we're in such, I think where we are personally, and I think, did we cover this in Journey to Freedom? Probably. Yeah. We're both at a place where, listen, shine bright. Like, there's enough for all of us to shine. As many of us can shine bright. Come.
Because when you put lights on, it's only going to get brighter. And light doesn't dim another light.
Yeah, and I think... I think it is personal growth as well.
And it definitely comes from that, and it just goes to show, even in that, what we're talking about, how much of an impact we have individually on the corporate. Yeah. Because ultimately we all have to work on ourselves in order to even be able to come to this.
Come together.
The nature of what God intended was collaboration. Like, we always look at it in relational terms, as in not platonic. Adam and Eve, when God said to Adam, it's not good for man to be alone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Which means it's not good for man to be alone. It's not good for a person to be in isolation. Yeah. There's a level of company that's needed, that's of our own likeness, as in human, because God was with Adam, so why was he alone? Yeah. He wasn't alone per se, but he was alone in him having a likeness.
Absolutely.
And that's what he said, isn't it? He looked among the animals and stuff, and there was no one that would be a suitable helpmeet. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So it's like that whole, like you're saying, that community and everything is, I don't think you said the word community, we said that off a camera, but like that whole community and everything is important. It's important. And like if we dial it back down, so we were talking about business, you spoke about business, but for me, like it was church. And once again, the reason we can sometimes isolate is from trauma. Is a different reason. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Me, I felt a little bit traumatized by the church. I felt judged by, not even the church, let me not say the church, because we say that sorry, forgive me for that, by people who went to church, who were in the church, because, you know, the church be getting a bad rap because of people. And yes, people make up the church, but it's not the church. If that makes, that one person isn't the church. Do you get what I mean? But I definitely had my things that made me feel like actually I'm not accepted there. So I'm just not gonna go there. It's not safe for me to be who I am. Then I've experienced that on more than one and two occasions. So I think just around the not long after we met, isn't it? Tree would be like, Narelle, you should go to church. And I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm okay.
Yeah, I remember I'd forgotten that. I'd forgotten.
Yeah, remember I didn't go to church.
I'd forgotten. Yeah, I had forgotten that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no, I'm okay. And I said, I'm not going church hopping and all that stuff when God wants a thing. And you know what? To be honest, I wouldn't do that now. I think if I didn't have a church, I would visit churches, not because I'm trying to find a church, but more so to be in a congregation and to just enjoy the fellowship, enjoy the worship, enjoy the word. But I wouldn't be church hopping to find a church per se. But back then, I'd experienced, you know, enough hurt in the church, so to speak, or by people in the church, that I was like, I'll just stay by myself. Like,
and for me, I guess in the church setting, I haven't experienced church hurt like that, but me being very introverted, it's really funny because, like, I guess seeing how our dynamic, you maybe wouldn't think that, but that's because you're one of my people.
So when I see you, like, remember I said,
if I don't know you, or even if I know you but we're not tight, I'm quite the opposite. Like, even last Sunday, you were like, Tree, you're always leaving so quickly after church. Because literally, I love my church. I love my church family, and in fact, I feel really led to be in physical church more. I'm really proud of myself. I've been in physical church. Tomorrow will be 3 weeks in a row.
I know. By God's grace, I get there tomorrow.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I really feel
good.
an unction to be in the house physically. More and more post-COVID. But anyway, I have to check myself on that, because it is literally, I could love you, I can like you, but I just want to leave. Like,
your default is,
my
okay,
default is I just need to leave now. Like,
literally, I see, like, she's, guys, last week you should have almost run for the door.
It's literally every week. And even my daughter will be like, Mom, like, let's just, because she's a little socialite. She is such a socialite, which I think people that see me, like maybe on this podcast or my videos may find that difficult to believe. But in those spaces, I'm in my element, I'm in my zone, I'm in my home. Do you know what I mean? I'm in my space, but you bring me out of that. I literally withdraw.
100%. And I see it. Like, and because I'm used to me and you, and that's normally what it is, me and you. And if it's not me and you, I feel like even though it's not normally that many people also. So, like, let's say you've been at my house with my mom and stuff like that, and you're still very you. But then it's like the numbers go up, I guess.
And I literally, I go into myself. But, like, even as someone, like, that's why I say it's so natural for me not to be in community. But because of the value of community, even as an introvert, I've had to really work on that. And know that, yes, I still like quiet time. I still like it, like, with just small groups and stuff. But actually, there's a place for community. Community is so important. It's worth stepping out. Even if it's not natural to you. It's worth it.
Because it's not.
It's important.
Because it's not normally natural to me. I think over time I've become more, for want of a better term, outgoing per se in public. Like, I've always been same as you. When it's my people, it's my people. That's cool. They'll know me for me. But it's definitely over time that I've got more comfortable around larger groups. But to say that actually it's the whole thing of the only reason why I got more comfortable is because I started to step out. And with regards to church, I would never not run, but you know what I mean, leave quickly with the church I'm in now. But you know, you just kind of talk to a few people or whatever. But what really hit me, and not just about staying after church, but just even just coming to church, is one of the young ladies. There's two of them, my babes is, and they're friends. But one of them said to me, Leroy, you know, we feel the difference when you're not there. And that's not me, not to boast in you, but to us to understand that we all affect each other. Do you know what I mean? True. And you know, our pastors always say, bring your supply. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we get so caught up in ourselves, in you know, whether we're introvert or we feel shy or all these different things, that we forget we bring something to the table, and we're not so insignificant that it's not felt. We're all significant in some way, shape or form. We all bring something.
Absolutely. And I'm just thinking now that it also comes from giving to the community, but also being able to receive from the community.
Absolutely.
So I'm just thinking about it. One thing I've always been able to do, I've always been a confident public speaker, and I've always spoken at events and gone to networking events, right? But that's okay when I'm on the giving side. But if I'm now networking with that, like if I'm just coming as a guest, or it's different, you know, and having to mingle on that level, or even receiving, it's different.
Yeah, it's a bit, that sounds similar to what you were saying about what you not necessarily before liking to ask for help. It's almost like you're not good at receiving.
And I've had to train myself to receive. And when you receive, it's not about inadequacy. It's about like you're part of a network. And it's the symbiotic relationship. It's the giving and receiving, which is why I think our relationship works so well. But it is, in community, it is that symbiotic relationship. And we need each other, guys.
Literally, like truthfully.
Yeah, there's something in you that I need, there's something in me that you need, and we need each other. And I think we just need to be really open to that. And embracing.
No, I agree. I think it's it's high time. Do you know what I'm saying? That because if you just think about the pocket relationships that we have, so to speak, outside of the bigger community, how much do we get from even just our friendship? Do you know what I mean? And then how much more to have more people be able to pour into you, but also you having people to pour into. Do you know what I mean? So pour from, pour into. Do you know what I mean? It is so important. And I think that it's unfortunate that sometimes we're very, very selfish and we don't realise how selfish we're being.
It's so true.
No, sorry, that's the wrong word. I was speaking to a therapist once. Self-centred. How? Because there's a difference.
There is a difference.
So it's interesting how self-centred we are, meaning that we're so strung in on, oh, I don't like, or I feel this, or I don't feel this, or I essentially every sentence there starts with I. You know what I'm saying? Not actually they or them, or do you know what I mean? The church or the person or a name, whatever it is.
It's true.
It's beyond. It's being able to see beyond ourselves, and I think as humans we can struggle to do that.
Definitely. And I think another thing that has changed for me is the diversity in my community. I think that I used to have I used to stick with a lot of people that were like me.
Interesting.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas I think that no, you're different. We're the same but different.
Yeah. I was thinking, I'm not those people.
But you're the same. I think we have the same core values. But I think that
no, we do have difference.
We're different. I mean, I did have people that were different. I look at my close friends, I think we're all quite different actually. But I think that my group has I've been more open to people that are very, very different to me. Even people that have different viewpoints to me. Whereas before it would be like, just no. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm more embracing and open of people that are different. Even if I don't share your views, I mean, you know, maybe we won't be best friends, but I think just my love walk has gotten stronger.
I was just about to say that's what it sounds like. I think because as well, it's not like you said, if people are not going to be best friends or it's that I do definitely think it's us growing in love and not just lovers of thyself. Like growing
and
in love
people
for
like
others.
you but just genuinely loving people, and I think that's new, relatively. I don't know if I liked people that much.
Yeah, oh no, oh
I
my
don't
gosh,
think I
didn't.
liked people that much.
I didn't. I'm saying like that because I said, do you know why? Yeah, because once I was in a class and I was an adult learning, and I remember I openly said in the class, I said I don't like people.
Yeah.
Everyone gasped.
No,
they couldn't believe.
I'm with you. I don't think I liked people very much.
I don't think I did either.
But even then, like, there's like stories that my mum will say is that, like, even my cousins say, like, they would come round, or friends would come down, and I would either disappear on them and stop talking to them, or I would say to my mum, "Can they leave now?" I would say to my mum, "Can they leave now?"
I can imagine you saying,
right. So this is like an ongoing. This is a lifelong journey. This has been for me, because I literally didn't really like people, but now I actually like people. I really love people. Like, that's progress. That's God.
Literally.
That is literally God. Because I could have lived by myself on an island with a library of books and been very fine.
Yeah. When I met you were very islandish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Literally, my husband was my person. It's
literally
fine. My world.
Yeah.
He was my person. And aside from that, and we had the children. And literally, I was totally fine in my little world.
Yeah. And now God's like, listen, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out. And that's why it's like, God just didn't create us to be in isolation. He really didn't. He really created us to be interdependent, like you said, and just it's just so much more. Like, to the point we probably cannot even, we cannot even fathom what actually God has in store for whether it's our businesses or a ministry or a podcast. Like we just actually
don't know.
We don't know, and I think something that just comes to mind also, even as I pray that you're encouraged to step out and really become more intentional about being more interdependent, asking for help, or pouring out your gifts, or giving your supply, as our pastors would say, is also don't despise small beginnings. You know what I mean? Don't despise that. And I think the best way I can put that is to say, like, don't become attached to the outcome. Don't build your own outcome in your mind as to what it's going to look like when I do X. Just do as God is leading you to do. Go where He's leading you to go, and just allow Him to paint the picture that He wants to paint, using you essentially as His, His paintbrush. Beautiful workmanship and everything. So
That's it, guys. Don't do life alone.
It's not.
Don't do life alone. You're robbing yourself.
Absolutely.
And also robbing others of you, of the blessing that you are as well. So,
And just to finish with your words, we are better together.
We absolutely are.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Another
episode. Love you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Absolutely. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment.
Bye guys.
And when the zeal they had when we got married leaves, what does that look like? When it comes to issues of submission, when it comes to the dynamic in your relationship.
So how far into the marriage did it kind of start to shift? Do you see what I mean? From, okay, you guys are going every week together, kids, tambourines, to, okay, now he doesn't.
It was kind of gradual, but I think I saw it. I saw him become disengaged before he stopped coming, almost.
Okay.
Yeah. So God had to talk to me about that and be like, and I think for me a turning point was like, God was like, you are his wife, You're not his mum. You're not his God.
Ooh,
he is my son. Do you know what I mean?
So don't be that friend that when your friend comes to chat to you and your friend is upset with their husband and you're going to visit your friend, your face is push up.
Yeah, don't do it. It's disrespectful as well.
Yeah. She's like leaving. Yeah, exactly.
It's disrespectful.
You don't do that.